What's up? I'm 22.
Do you support Trump?
Yep.
Election held today, Harris versus Trump. Who would you rather vote for?
I mean, if it was held today, Trump couldn't run, but probably Trump.
Okay, why do you support Trump?
I align myself with right conservative policies. I think the left is just a generally hateful, party, if I'm being honest.
What makes you think that?
Well, if you look anywhere, roughly at TikTok, Facebook, social media is a great example of it. Even protesters, you see people that align themselves with right side policies, like let's say pro-life, for example. Right? People that are pro-life, they go out there and they protest and shit like that. And then you have people that are left-wingers or pro-choicers that usually align with, the left. And they're very hateful towards people that have the right to protest. They're very hateful towards people that have their own opinion. I mean, even people generally very hateful people to be around. They're very insulting. People like you and Dean, whenever y'all talk to people on, Debate Lives, y'all use, little smart comments, stuff like that. And I'm not going to say that you guys are bad people for, having your opinion, but I feel like it's just a very hateful environment to be around any public party at this point, honestly, right and left, but I feel like the left's more guilty of it.
Okay, so you're mad that I insult people, but you support a candidate for president that has an insulting name for every single person he would go up against. You support a side that literally incited a violent insurrection at the Capitol, pardoned violent rioters who beat police officers, and called them patriots. Okay, that's the side that you're on. You're on the side of the guy who called for the execution of some Democrats because they said to follow the law and to not follow unlawful orders, and that he said that he hates his political opponents. Okay? So if you want to talk about being hateful or hateful people at protests, talk about the Trump supporters that are holding up Confederate flags, right? Or the Trump supporters spamming slurs at gay people and trans people just for existing, right? Or saying slurs to people who are black just for existing, right? Or against women just for existing, right? What about the hateful aspects of the MAGA movement that are clearly so prevalent?
Explain that. What hateful premises of the MAGA movement?
I just told you. You go to a Trump rally, you see Confederate flags that are up in the air. You talk to Trump supporters, they'll use slurs. They'll be incredibly hateful against people specifically that aren't just like them, especially trans people and gay people.
Not in my experience, no. I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't happen, because every person on this earth is guilty of having, hateful ideologies one way or another. And it's a very, subjective mindset as well. But I'm not going to deny the fact that, yeah, right, conservative people do tend to be a bit more judgmental towards, LGBTQ and stuff like that. But I feel like the left wing is more... I feel like having an opinion and hatefulness is two different things, though.
You don't think the right is more hateful in a bigoted way against marginalized communities?
Maybe as a whole, yes, but individually, no.
Wait, yeah, we're talking about as a whole, because you were just trying to criticize the left as a whole, or Democrats as a whole.
Right, but I'm saying in my experience, my personal experience, that's why I can't align myself with left people. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that the right or left is wrong. I'm not going to sit here and say, because you're left, you're stupid, you shouldn't be left. But I'm saying, in my own experience, with what I've had, people that are left-wingers or support Kamala or support Biden, they are genuinely more hateful. But we can move on from this. I mean, this isn't going to go anywhere.
Wait, so let me just be clear. If in my experience that it's more prevalent that right-wingers are more hateful, would I be justified in voting for the left?
Well, it's subjective, right? So most people that are voting what they are today, right, blue, most people are raised in these kind of environments, right? So my parents are both Republican, so I'm more likely to be Republican, right? If my parents are both Democratic.
I grew up in a Republican household, so I'm asking you the specific question. Would you like to engage?
Yeah, I know. You growing up in a Republican household and being Democratic doesn't make you special, though. That's not like it's some new thing. But at the same time, as a whole, like we just said, you're more likely to be a byproduct of your parent.
What was the point of saying that?
Because you just said that you...
And by the way, are you driving?
No.
Okay, just making sure. You were saying?
So you had just said that you have Republican parents and...
I grew up in a Republican household. They were.
Right. But I'm saying, as a whole, can you not agree that most people are byproducts of their parents? A majority of people nowadays, and I'm not even going to exclude myself in this, are honestly like uneducated on the actual fact of politicians. They just believe what they want to believe because people around them align themselves with that personal party. You know, I can think of a good group of people right now that I know firsthand that don't really know what they're voting for. They're just kind of voting for it because other people around them choose the same thing. And that's not saying left or right. I'm saying both parties.
Respectfully, isn't that kind of like you?
I would like to consider myself more educated on the fact, though. I watch
Okay.
you and Dean a lot. I like to educate myself on politicians and policies and stuff like that.
Okay.
And when it comes to actual like
Can you name two
voting,
policies of Trump's that you like?
the warp speed, and then the second one, what was the name of it? He just passed this one recently with the Spousal Commission Act. That was passed under Pete Hegseth. He actually brought it to get passed. That was another one I liked. I can name a third one, which was the
What was the first one?
I believe it was called the warp speed or something. You know, with the whole vaccinations during 2019.
Operation Warp Speed.
Yeah, Operation Warp Speed. That was the one.
Are you sure you're not driving?
I'm not driving. I look here. Can I turn my
It
camera
kind
on?
of just sounds like you're driving.
I can't turn my camera on. But still, I mean, I just feel like there's very like institutionalized ideas that right or left people, and so for example, right. Um, Let me ask you this: do you feel like your life has been better or worse since Trump has been put into office? Like you personally.
Me personally, obviously my life has become better, but that's also associated with me becoming an adult.
Right. And if you were to base yours, like, what were the negatives of Trump becoming in
Like
office
like
that
just
have
think
personally
of it this
affected
way.
you?
If my life was better off like when I was a kid comparative to now, that might be a problem for me because like I was like literally like a middle schooler.
So do you feel like you're benefiting as a human?
What? Cut off? You said what?
I'm sorry. Do you feel like you're benefiting as an adult under Trump?
Do I feel like I'm benefiting as an adult under Trump? No.
You don't. And can you explain to me why?
Yeah, I would argue that things would be better off if the Democrats were in office.
Can you like explain to me like what that reason is for though? Like what specifically would a Democrat being in office change about your life that would make it more beneficial for you?
We wouldn't be at war with Iran. Gas prices would be cheaper. The economy would be flowing better. People would have more money. They'd be able to spend more money on things. Right? Like, for example, right? People would have more money in the economy because people wouldn't be spending so much money on gas. That specifically, if we're talking about for me, let's say that I was specifically only viewing it from a business perspective, well, people would be able to support me to a greater extent. So any type of business owner would be able to say, oh, it would be better off under Democrats, even for me as a business owner, because of the fact that people would be able to have more money to spend on the products that I produce in order to be able to then make me more money. Like inevitably, business owners do better when the rest of the economy is doing better. The rest of the economy right now is doing worse because Donald Trump imposed the war with Iran and his tariff policy, which is disenfranchising people within the country. So although everything isn't like the worst possible state it can be in, we're in the Great Depression right now, etc., right? It is the case that it's worse off than it would have been otherwise.
So can you explain to me the actual specifics of why you think there's a negative impact? And obviously there's a negative impact on the economy because of the war in Iran, but can you explain to me the actual negative impact of the war in Iran? Why do you believe that we should be at war with Iran? Just to base off what you're going off
Why
of.
do I think we shouldn't be?
Yes.
Because they didn't
With,
attack us,
without
and
without without
we
giving
do
it
so
like
in
a
defense. Secondly, we haven't gotten any political concessions from Iran since the beginning of the war, and we've lost American soldiers' lives. Iranian civilians have been killed. We've distanced us from our allies around the world due to the beginning and the starting of a war.
would it be crazy to say that it's kind of shown where we stay with our allies because of the war in Iran? You know what I mean? Like,
No,
wouldn't it be showing? You know, it's like kind of like whenever.
not really.
Nah, I
It's
think
kind of just
that was
showing
wrong.
like whether our allies would follow us into an offensive conflict that
Wouldn't you
we
want them to
started.
though?
What's up?
But would you not want them to?
Nope.
Isn't the whole point of the actual like
Trump
detonation
started the
zone?
war without justification. They would do so if there was a justification because there would be a UN Security Council or they would specifically make a particular resolution that it would be justified, or there'd be one for
Wasn't the
NATO.
justification for the war that Iran was specifically saying that they do not align with American policy and they want to attack us when they get the chance? They're trying to enrich uranium, and then
Uh,
after Operation Midnight Hammer happened,
yeah, that happened before the
Israel,
war.
right, and then Israel and the United States told them to quit trying to enrich uranium, and they kept trying to, so they put a stop to it. We have not had any troops on the ground. Yes, we have had troops die in Kuwait, and I think it was Jordan as well, due to indirect fire. But we aren't actually at war. Let me classify it as a war. It's more
It
of a
is a
conflict.
war as defined by the Trump administration. Like Trump has said it. What's it called? Pete Hegseth has said it. It's very obvious.
I mean, we can call it whatever we want, but still, I'm 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 saying, would this not have happened eventually, regardless if it was under the Trump administration or whoever's next? Maybe Kamala, maybe JD,
Kamala.
whoever gets voted next. I mean, if Kamala gets voted next and she's the president, that's kind of the difference between, left and right policies. I feel like you guys kind of deny the fact that Trump got elected not once but twice. He's in office, like it or not. You know what I mean? And if Kamala gets elected in the presidency next year, or not next year, next term, I'll suck it up. I'll support her because she's our president. You know what I mean? Like that's whatever happens, happens. I'm not gonna deny the fact that they are the person that the United States people voted for. She's in office. He's in office. I feel like you kind of just gotta get with the program.
Okay. So, you just claiming we should support him because he's the president, I think is ridiculous. Okay. Do you think that you supported Biden when he was in office?
Yeah, I mean, I supported him when he was in office. I didn't support everything he was doing, but for the most part, I benefited a little bit off of Biden.
Okay. Can I ask you a question then?
Yeah.
If you were living in Nazi Germany when Hitler were the leader of the country, would you support him?
So you're comparing Trump to Hitler? Is that what you're saying? And
I'm
obviously, no, I wouldn't support Hitler. But
No,
are
I'm
you
saying
saying that
I'm no, I'm making the comparison that if you say you would support the leader of the country, no matter who the leader is, right, then I would be able to question that.
I'm supporting the leader, whoever it is, in our country, in the United States, right?
Okay,
I'm not supporting the leader of
I understand, but I said if you
Israel
lived
or
there, like if you lived in Russia, would you support Putin?
no, but I don't live in Russia. I live in the United States. We
Yeah,
live
exactly
under
my
a
point. So,
democracy. Yeah, but
exactly
we
my
live in a
point.
democracy.
I
We
understand,
voted for
but Trump is undermining our democracy.
how?
He has called for the termination of all rules, regulations, and articles, even those found in the Constitution. He got 70% of the Republican Party to believe the election was stolen with no evidence. He literally incited a violent insurrection at the Capitol and pardoned violent rioters who beat police officers and called them patriots.
Wasn't it proven though? And you can correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't it proven that there was like foul play during the 2020 election?
Nope, that was proven false.
I could have sworn there was something to do with the ballots and like Russian.
Nope,
Like I thought that or some
nope,
other. I mean, I don't have a computer in front of me, so
nope.
I mean, I could be wrong.
Proven false.
But still, I align myself with the right policies. I believe that abortion is murder. I believe that I mean, I got some other ones I really don't want to talk about. And I'm sure you debate abortion 1,000 times a day, so I really don't want to get into that. No, I fully believe that um, people aren't really free thinking nowadays. You know what I mean? There's not really like these conversations that you're having, these debates you're having. Doesn't really matter. People are gonna believe what they want to believe in the first place. No one really actually has the idea of decision making. They kind of just want to debate you, go back and forth, yada yada, and then get there in 15 minutes. But I feel like nobody actually really changes. And how do you feel we should change that as a country to be able to say, hey, if you really do feel like the policies we have in place now, the president we have in place now is wrong, next term Kamala gets put in the office or JD gets put in the office, how do you feel like we come together as a country and quit arguing back and forth if you really want to look at the big picture?
Type a 3 in the comment section if your mind has ever been changed by something that's happened on the live stream.
Well, yeah, your followers that are underneath your live stream are gonna say
Well,
three on
Jacob, these are still individual people that through being able to watch my stream, that changed. Okay, if my stream didn't exist, these people wouldn't have experienced that.
But the change
Thousands
isn't
of
that
people.
great
Look
yet.
at all these comments.
I, a lot of these people look like they were already leftists. No offense to based off looks, but
Wait, so that could also change people who's liberals' minds, of course. If you're liberal and you gain and you change your mind from this live stream, that's also something that it's doing. That's a positive that comes from this, right? The positives aren't just simply from people who disagree with me coming to my position, but it's also specifically people who agree with me hearing the arguments that I provide and then being able to use those arguments whenever they engage in conversations with other people.
Right, but how do you feel like we actually face this after this term? See, once Trump gets out of office, and he's not going to run for a third term, as much as I know he said that, but
This is
obviously
it's going to be against
he
the
came
Republicans. So it'd be why do you support Republicans?
right. But at that point, then what do you how do you define like Republican? Just their policies, or
Someone who
because
supports Republicans.
there's no more MAGA, right? There's no more Make America Great Again after this. I mean, maybe JD tries to do it, but I highly doubt he will.
JD is a byproduct of MAGA, so he's still a MAGA movement.
I think
Same
you
thing with
kind of
Marco Rubio,
underestimate.
which are your only two shots for presidency, for
I think
like
you
nominee.
underestimate JD's like
You got a
or,
misinformation flag.
um still I don't
Pretty
know.
sure it's the election stuff you said.